Sometimes love doesn't die loudly. It fades slowly like a candle running out of wax until the darkness finally consumes everything. Tonight I tell you a story of love that turned into fear, fear that turned into jealousy, and jealousy that led a man to destroy the very woman who once loved him more than herself. You will witness a home that crumbled, a woman reborn from ashes, and a husband who learned that insecurity is the quiet killer of every great love story. This is Amara and Tund, two hearts once united, later torn apart by success, ego, and an act no one saw coming. But before the scissors, before the tears, before the $1 million offer that changed everything, let us go back to where it all began. 8 years earlier, the world looked different for Amara, the young artist with a heart brighter than her future. She rushed down the street, canvases under her arm, rain soaking her dress. People ran for shelter, but she didn't care. She had a small exhibition to attend. Her legs slipped, her paintings flew into muddy water. A hand caught her before she fell. A strong grip. Warm. Safe. She looked up. Tund. A stranger then, but destiny smiled that day. Tund spoke gently. Easy. Rain no go carry you today. She laughed nervously, clutching her chest. Thank you. I would have broken something, if not bones, then pride. They collected the scattered canvases one by one, talking, joking, smiling like two people who had known each other forever. Amara noticed his dimple when he smiled. Tund noticed her anxious laugh, the one she used to hide embarrassment. From a single moment, a story started writing itself. Days turned into weeks. Tund visited her exhibition. He bought her cheapest painting, not because he needed it, but because he believed in her. They met for coffee, then walks, then dinners. They talked about dreams. Amara dreamed of painting for galleries around the world. Tund dreamed of owning a consulting firm. He told her, one day, I'll open my office in Victoria Island. She replied, and I'll have my artworks displayed in New York. Two dreamers, holding hands under streetlights. Love grew slowly like a plant watered with laughter. They got married. A small wedding with close friends, roasted chicken, soft music, loud laughter. Their first apartment was tiny, cracked wall paint, noisy generator, one mattress on the ground. Yet it felt like paradise. They cooked noodles at midnight. They danced in the kitchen barefoot. They prayed together, planned together, promised forever. But life is not satisfied with simple joy, it always tests love. Amara spent every day painting. Colors stained her fingers, ideas filled her nights. She posted her work online slowly. People noticed. One client paid her $50 for a portrait. She screamed and jumped around the house. Tund lifted her in joy. My wife, Simonio. They celebrated with shawarma and cheap ice cream. Life was sweet. More orders came. Then an art blogger featured her. Then a small gallery called. Her income grew. She started earning more than Tund. Not intentionally, just naturally. Tund was proud at first, but pride carries shadow. Inside, a seed of insecurity quietly rooted itself. Months later, Amara was invited to speak at events. Magazines interviewed her. Brands gifted her wigs, clothes, sponsorship deals. Tund, meanwhile, was still grinding at 6 and 8 p.m. office work. Little pay, constant stress. He began noticing things he never cared about. Amara's phone lighting at night. Men commenting under her posts. She having makeup on more often. She traveling for exhibitions without him sometimes. It wasn't that she changed, but his fear began to grow. He started asking questions. Why is your phone always busy? Do you need makeup for every outing? Those men messaging you, who are they? Amara always answered with love. Baby, I'm doing this for us, so we won't struggle forever. But fear doesn't listen to love. He began comparing salaries, achievements, recognition. He wondered if he was enough for her anymore. One night he sat alone in the dark, thinking, overthinking, imagining things that didn't exist. Then came the email. Bright subject line. Invitation to sign a global partnership. $1 million offer. Amara collapsed into joyful tears. She hugged Tund with trembling hands. Baby, we made it. But instead of joy, his eyes dimmed, his chest tightened. In that moment, he wasn't thinking of the future. He was thinking of what he could lose. And insecurity finally woke up hungry. Slow heartbeat FX. Camera metaphor zoom in emotionally. He forced a smile. I'm happy for you. But his voice cracked. Amara didn't notice. Love can make us blind even to danger. Tun shared his fear with Kunal, his bachelor friend who always believed women can't be trusted. Kunal laughed loud. $1 million key? Bros, prepare yourself. Once she cash out, she go change. Tun tried defending her. Amara is different. Kunal leaned closer, voice like poison. Every woman with money becomes boss. You go become decoration for house. The words entered like smoke slow, choking, invisible. Then Lola came, Tun's old friend, secretly in love with him. She whispered softly, Tun, I know you. You deserve respect. Are you sure she won't outgrow you? Her perfume filled his head with old memories. Attention, admiration, validation. She played her card well. Amara was rising publicly. Lola was rising privately in Tun's heart. Amara became busy preparing for the deal. Meetings, calls, contracts, photo shoots. Tun felt ignored even when she wasn't ignoring him. At dinner, silence sat between them like a third person. Amara noticed. You're quiet lately. Tun shrugged. Nothing. Just tired. But his eyes told a different story. He watched her like a stranger, measured her success like competition. One night, she tried to cuddle him. He shifted away. Amara stared at the ceiling for hours, heart heavy. She didn't know what she had done wrong. The woman who once slept peacefully holding her husband, now cried herself to sleep beside him. Narration soft, slow. Two people in same bed, worlds apart. Amara received her designer gown for the signing ceremony, a stunning dress that made her glow. She stood in the mirror practicing her acceptance speech, her voice shaky with excitement. She approached Tun gently. Baby, tomorrow is big. I want you beside me. Front row. He nodded slowly, but inside jealousy boiled like hot oil. He went to the bathroom, stared in the mirror. Is she too big for me now? What if she leaves? What if another man takes her? I must do something. He touched his hair. Then he looked at her long, beautiful wig, her signature look as an artist. A sick thought slithered into his mind. Without her beauty, the deal might fail. He didn't recognize that thought, but it felt comforting in his broken pride. Lightning strikes sound. A dangerous idea was born. Morning came, sunlight warm, birds singing like joy itself. Amara sat on the floor styling her long black wig, smiling quietly, unaware of fate inches behind her. Camera slow motion feeling. Tund walked in silently. In his hand scissors, anger in his eyes, fear on his lips, tears he refused to show. He grabbed her hair suddenly violently. She screamed. Snap! 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 Hair fell like the death of a dream. Amara fought. Tund held tighter. He shouted with trembling rage. If they don't see your beauty, they won't want you. You won't leave me. You belong to me. She cried louder, helpless, broken, her voice shaking like the earth itself. When he finally stopped, she was half bald, pieces of hair everywhere like fallen feathers. Silence. A silence louder than thunder. Tund froze, breathing hard. Reality hit him like a truck. He dropped the scissors. His hands shook. He whispered, "What have I done?" Amara stared at him, not in anger first, but in disbelief, hurt deeper than any cut. Then heartbreak turned to fire. She stood up shaking, tears flooding. You were supposed to protect me. You cut my hair, Tund, but you cut our love more. She packed a bag, her hands trembling, her heart bleeding. He begged, crawling on the floor. Amara, please, please. But she walked out barefoot without looking back. Door slams like final judgment. Amara stepped out of the house barefoot. Her feet hit the cold tiles, then the rough pavement outside. Her half-cut hair fluttered in shame. Her heart beat heavy like a drum of betrayal. She walked, not knowing where she was going. The morning sun was bright, yet her world was dark. Neighbors stood outside. They watched. Some gasped. Some whispered. Phones slowly lifted, recording. Screens lit up as if her pain was entertainment. Someone murmured, "God forbid, What happened to her hair? Another person said, marriage is something else. But no one rushed forward. No one asked if she was okay. She felt naked, exposed, defeated. She pulled her scarf over her head, shaking while trying to hide what was left of her identity. Her feet kept moving. Each step away from home felt like walking out of a grave she didn't know she lived in. She reached the roadside. A cab driver asked gently, "Auntie, where you dey go?" She didn't even know. Tears dropped on her palms as she whispered, "Kioma's house, please just drive." Knock, knock, knock. The door opened. Kioma gasped, hand on mouth. "Jesus! Amara, what happened?" Amara collapsed in Kioma's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Her voice was broken glass. "He cut it. He cut my hair, Kioma. My husband did this to me." Kioma pulled her inside, hugged her tight. She sat with her on the couch, covered her with a blanket. "You're safe here. Cry. Let it out." Minutes felt like hours. Silence filled the room except for Amara's sobs. Later, Kioma made tea. Amara held the cup but couldn't drink. She stared at her reflection in the mirror on the wall. The woman staring back was not the confident artist she knew. Her inner voice whispered, "Who am I without my hair? Without beauty? Will people still respect me? Will the company still sign me?" She touched her scalp, the prickly, uneven cut. It hurt emotionally more than physically. Narrator slow, reflective, and there, sitting on that couch wrapped in a blanket of trauma, Amara fell apart in a way she had never fallen before. Night came. She curled on the sofa like a child. Kioma stayed awake on a chair watching her, worried, praying silently. A text came from the company. "Reminder contract signing tomorrow at 11 a.m. Amara dropped the phone on the floor. She whispered, broken, "I can't go like this. I'm not presentable. I'm ruined." Kioma knelt beside her. "Listen to me. Your hair is not your talent. Your beauty is not your art. You are the gift, not the wig." Amara cried harder, but something inside her trembled. A tiny spark, though faint, didn't die.
Back home, Tun sat on the floor, surrounded by hair, the scissors beside him like a weapon after war. He stared blankly, breathing shallow. "What have I done?" He repeated it again and again. He called her. No answer. He texted, "Amara, please come home. I don't know what took over me. I love you. I was scared. I'm sorry, please." Blue ticks never appeared. Hours passed. He paced the room like a prisoner of his own action. Insecurity had given him temporary power, but reality arrived with punishment. Someone outside knocked loudly. Police. A neighbor had reported domestic abuse after seeing the video online. Tun spent the night at the station, not beaten, but broken, not handcuffed physically, but mentally bound by regret. He sat in a cell corner, head buried between knees, hearing echoes of her scream in his mind. By morning, the video went viral. Hashtags trended. Hashtag justice for Amara. Hashtag stop domestic violence. Hashtag her hair, her choice. Blogs posted headlines. Artist brutally attacked by jealous husband. Husband cuts wife's hair over $1 million deal. Influencers talked about it. Women protested online. Artists stood in solidarity. Meanwhile, millions defended Amara. Millions condemned Tund. The world now watched their marriage like a movie. But for Amara, this was real-life pain. Morning of the contract signing, Amara sat silently, her scarf on her head, eyes puffy from crying, documents on the table untouched. Kioma approached softly. "Will you go?" Amara whispered. "How will I face the cameras, the investors, the world?" Kioma held her hand, not with hair, but with strength. Silence. Amara inhaled deeply, the kind that reaches the soul. She stood up slowly, walked to the bathroom, removed the scarf. She looked in the mirror. This time, she didn't see ruined beauty. She saw a warrior looking back. She shaved the rest of her hair clean willingly this time. Tears fell, but her eyes were fierce. She put on a simple, elegant dress, painted soft makeup, wore long earrings that danced with defiance. She picked her art folder, took a deep breath. "I will go." The hall was huge. Reporters swarmed. Flashlights like lightning. Cameras ready to feed the world the moment she arrived. People whispered when she walked in. Heads turned. Bald, bold, beautiful. Gasps filled the room. Not mockery, admiration. She walked the red carpet with a slow, majestic stride. Every step loud like thunder. Journalists rushed forward. Amara, why shave your head? Is it true your husband did this? She paused. Tears glistened in her eyes, but her voice stood firm. My hair was cut, but not my confidence. My crown is not on my head. My crown is in my talent, my voice, my strength. Camera shutters went wild. Amara walked to the stage, picked the microphone with steady hands.
I stand here today not as a victim, but as a woman who refuses to be broken. Yes, I was attacked. Yes, my hair was cut without consent. But he didn't cut my courage. He didn't cut my dreams. He didn't cut the woman I am becoming. Audience silent, emotional. To every woman whose light was dimmed, whose voice was silenced, rise. Success should never threaten love. Love should never fear success. People nodded, some wiping tears. And to men, support your women. A queen does not outshine her king, she stands beside him. Together they shine brighter. Thunderous applause. She signed the contract. The CEO shook her hand respectfully. Amara, the world is proud of you. Cheering, standing ovation. Camera flashes brighter than pain. In that moment, Amara became a symbol. Her pain turned into power. Her tears became ink for history. Amara stepped outside. Fans gathered. Women hugged her. Some cried on her shoulder. One little girl said, I want to be strong like you. Amara smiled softly. You already are. Kioma embraced her tightly. You did it. Amara whispered. No. We did it. Camera fades out slowly. The courtroom was silent. Every breath felt heavy. Amma sat beside her lawyer, eyes lowered, fingers shaking. On the other side of the room sat Kelvin, her husband, the man she once loved, now looking smaller than ever, shadowed with regret and shame. The judge reviewed the case file, his glasses resting on the bridge of his nose. Everyone in that courtroom knew this was more than a case about hair. It was a case about trust, respect, and the breaking of a woman's spirit. Judge firm. Mrs. Amma, do you still wish to press charges? Amma lifted her head slowly. The whole room waited for her answer. AMA calm, emotional. Your Honor, I don't want him jailed. I only want my life back. My dignity. My freedom. Kelvin squeezed his hands together, fighting tears. Kelvin's strained voice. Amma, please. I made a terrible mistake. I acted out of fear and insecurity. His voice cracked. Kelvin, I thought if you became successful, you would leave me behind. I thought losing your hair would stop everything. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Amma listened. Her heart was heavy. She remembered the pain, the humiliation, the night she screamed as her hair fell to the floor. But she also remembered the years they shared, the laughter, the dreams. She took a deep breath. AMA, Kelvin, I forgive you, but forgiveness doesn't mean staying. The judge nodded. Judge, then this court orders Mr. Kelvin to attend mandatory therapy for anger and jealousy management for 6 months. Mrs. Amma will be granted full protection and complete independent control of her business dealings. Case adjourned. The gavel struck once like thunder ending a storm. Reporters gathered like bees. Cameras flashed. Reporter, Amma, how do you feel after the verdict? Amma smiled gently for the first time in months. AMA. I feel free. I feel reborn. Kelvin watched her from afar. Tears ran down his cheeks, not of anger this time, but realization. Amma walked away with grace, new confidence, new strength. Days turned to weeks. Amma focused on healing. She attended therapy, rebuilt her self-worth, and surrounded herself with supportive friends. Slowly, her hair began to grow back, each inch symbolizing resilience. She signed the $2 million deal. Then another. Investors loved her courage, her story, her authenticity. Newspapers called her the woman who rose stronger. Television shows invited her. She became a voice for women suffering in silence. Her name traveled far beyond her city. In a grand hall filled with entrepreneurs and CEOs, she stood at the podium wearing a stunning low-cut hairstyle that shined proudly. AMA, sometimes life cuts you down. Not to end you, but to teach you to grow differently. I lost my hair, but I found my voice. The audience stood, clapping endlessly. Tears rolled down faces. Amma smiled, glowing like sunrise after a storm. Kelvin lived alone now, in a smaller apartment. Therapy changed him. At first, he resisted. He blamed her, blamed fate. But eventually, he saw the truth. His insecurities weren't her fault. They were his own battle. He worked on himself, learned communication, learned respect. He even volunteered at a support group for men dealing with jealousy. He missed Amma deeply, but this time, his love wasn't possessive. It was respectful, from a distance. 2 years passed. Amma was now a global figure, her empire thriving. She wrote a best-selling book. Shaved, but saved. At a book signing, a familiar voice spoke. Kelvin soft, Amma. Amma turned. There he was, changed, calm, humble. AMA. Hi, Kelvin. Kelvin, I just wanted to say thank you. Losing you taught me to find myself. I'm truly happy for you. Amma nodded, eyes gentle. AMA. Thank you, Kelvin. We both grew. No bitterness, no hatred, just closure. Some stories don't end with reconnection. Some end with growth. Amma didn't win because she fought Kelvin. She won because she fought for herself. Her hair was taken, but her power was reborn. And to anyone listening right now, never allow fear, jealousy, or control to steal your shine. Sometimes life cuts your hair, so you can grow a crown.